guys, let's talk about how awesome the books were this week. DC, you guys came on swinging. Indies were great. All right, let's jump into those right after this. What's up, comic book fans? My name is Bruce Moreau.
And I am Stephanie.
What's up, comic book fans? My name is Bruce Moreau, and welcome to the channel, and welcome to Comic Book Reviews, my weekly series where I review the books that I picked up on New Comic Book Day. And New Comic Book Day was June 17th, 2020. And guys, what a week in comics. There were 0 Marvel books this week. They're still on that bi-weekly cycle until they ramp fully up into production, I believe, in mid-July. But guys, indies were great this week. DC books were fire. Well, most of them were. Yeah, it was a really good week in comics, and I'm so excited to talk about these books with you guys. But before we get into the actual reviews for the books, are you guys subscribed to the channel? No? Then hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification, and this is the important part because that means you guys will be notified each time when I upload new videos to the channel, and also when Stephanie and I go live on Fridays for Comics and Beer. Comics and Beer is our weekly Friday live stream where we talk about all things comic book news related. That's comic book movies, TV shows, and comic books themselves. We also drink some beers on the channel, and guys, we do giveaways every single week. And guys, I got the package from Greg Rucka today. This morning, I opened it up. Wow. Greg Rucka, you are amazing and generous, and I cannot thank you enough for sending what you did. If you guys stick around to the end of the video, I'll give you guys a little sneak peek of what to expect next Friday. But I think that is everything that needs to be said before we jump into the reviews, and I do want to spend most of the time of this video talking about those reviews. I was just so excited when I opened that package. It was so cool. So cool. So yeah, subscribe, bell notification, smash that like button. Helps out the channel, helps me, helps you. But yeah, let's jump right into the indie books. Alright guys, my first indie book up for today is such a good book, and that is Family Tree number 6. This is written by Jeff Lemire and art by Phil Hester, Eric Gaster, and Ryan Cody. First up, the writing in this book is superb. Jeff Lemire continues to be one of my favorite writers right now in the comic book industry. His work at DC and his indie books are absolutely stellar. This continues to be just a really enjoyable book. The characters are really easy to enjoy. You connect with them right out of the gates, and you really enjoy the grandpa in this story. He might be not the most lovable, but I don't know, he's such a great character, and this book rolls mainly around him and catching him up on his story because the last issue didn't really deal a lot with him. We find out where he is. It's crazy. A little synopsis of the book. There's a certain select few of people in the world who are turning into trees, and there's a group of people who are hunting them down because they basically think that when these people turn fully into trees, it's going to signal the apocalypse for the world, basically. That's what I'm getting from it. And it's just such a crazy, wacky story. I absolutely love the art in this book by Phil Hester and Ryan Cody and Eric Gaster. It fits the book really, really well. It gives it like that nice creepy vibe. And then when they show the people turning in the trees, so good, so good. I highly suggest you guys pick this book up. I would give this an 8 out of 10. It's not a great jumping in point because this is issue 6. It should be collected in trade semi-recently. If you guys want to wait for that. If not, go find out the 6 issues because they are so good. All right, let's jump into the next indie book. All right, guys, up next, we have The Man Who Effed Up Time, number 3. This is written by John Layman and art by Carl Mostert, and this is a really fun ride of a book. It's so good. Time travel, you can do such crazy, wacky things, and John Layman and Carl Mostert do that in this book. Like you can see on the cover, there's a caveman holding the main character, Sean Bennett's head, and his head, he loses his head like 3 or 4 times in this book. There's cavemen, there's dinosaurs, there's dodos, there's, I don't know, there's so much crazy, wacky stuff, and I love it. Oh yeah, there's also multiple versions of Sean Bennett. What? It's so good. I highly suggest you guys pick this book up. This is an Aftershock book. This is the only Aftershock book that I'm reading right now, but it is really, really good. I would give this book a 7.5 out of 10. The art is really solid. It's not my favorite, but it's really, really good. And yeah, it's just a fun action-packed ride. There's always something happening, and it's just a fun, fast read, and I suggest you guys pick this book up. It's not the greatest jumping in point because this is issue 3, but if you can find all 3 issues, guys, it's a fun ride, and I highly suggest you guys pick up. All right, let's talk about my last indie book of the week. All right, guys, we have Wynd #1, wrapping up my indie books. This is written by James Tynion IV and art by Michael Delanis. I'm totally butchering that name, but this book had a lot of hype around it, and it did not let down. I have been loving James Tynion work on so many things, or Tynion, I believe it's Tynion. Justice League Dark has been amazing. His work on Justice League was so good that with Scott Snyder, his work on Something is Killing the Children is out of control good. It's so freaking good, and this continues the greatness. It's a fun story about a world where the humans are kind of have walled them off inside themselves in the city, and they're kind of pushing out the magical beings. Yes, there's magical beings that we don't know all of them yet. This mainly focuses on Wynd, this main character who seems to be an elf of some sort, hiding within the human society. Why is he hiding? Again, we don't know. There's just a lot of setup. There is 60 pages of goodness in this book, and James Tynion went on Twitter, I believe, and said that you can look forward to the next few issues all being 60 pages for $3.99, which is incredible. There's so much great, beautiful artwork by Michael Delanis. It really is gorgeous, guys. It has a fun, really vibe to it. I said The Man Who After Time is really fun, but the artwork in this book, it is fun. It made me smile, and it made me just genuinely happy when I read this book. The writing is killer. The dialogue is so good. It does a great job of setting up a lot of little stories to get you excited about reading the next few issues, which is a key thing that all #1s need to do. This one was a home run. I really enjoy it, and I cannot wait to see what happens in the future. I think my favorite part of this book is going to be the character stories and development. Not the overall arc, like where the whole story is going, but the personal little pockets of stories each character is going to have, and that looks like it's gonna be awesome. Guys, I would give this an 8.5 out of 10. Super quality book, really thick. Boom Studios crushing so much of the game right now. I really enjoyed this book, and I highly suggest you guys pick this up. Now let's jump into those DC books. This has been such an amazing week in comic books, and DC does not let down. It just jumps right on that train and keeps on chugging. The first few books were good books. They're not solid, but when we get to the end of these review, guys, must pickups. But the first book we are going to talk about is Batman in the Outsiders, #13. This is written by Brian Hill and art by Gleb Melkinkov, I believe. I probably pronounced that wrong. I apologize, like I always do. This wasn't a great issue in the Batman in the Outsiders overall story. It was good. I didn't hate it. It's continuing the storylines that have been built up so far over the last 12 issues. It just, I don't know, it felt different. And I think a main part of that was not the writing by Brian Hill. It was more the switch of the artist. Dexter Soy has been on this book, I think, from the first 12 issues, and the switching over just felt different. It gave it a different vibe, a different feel, a little more cartoony art style, so it just made it feel, I don't know, less sharp and realistic, I guess. Not realistic, but I don't know. Dexter Soy has this nice, crisp artwork, and it just gave it a more childish feel, which I didn't love. But overall, I still love the characters. Black Lightning is great. Dexter Soy's writing is really good. I enjoy the dialogue and everything. I don't know. I think the artwork just changed the overall tone of the book for me, which was a little off-putting. I would get this to 6.5 out of 10. Definitely not a good jumping in point at issue 13, and it's continuing still the first storyline from issue #1. So if you guys do want to get caught up on this, you do need to pick this up in trade or pick up 12 single issues, which you might be able to find some of the first ones for super cheap in like dollar bins or something. So, but yeah, Batman and the Outsiders. Give it a shot. Month after month, I keep considering dropping this book. It's always on the chopping block, where somehow it always ends up in my pull, and I end up reading it, and I end up being disappointed. This is kind of in that same boat, but let's talk about Young Justice #15. This is written by Brian Michael Bendis and David F. Walker, and art by John Timms. Let's start off by the art. I love Johnston's art. It's super solid in this book. There were a few panels that looked like they were possibly drawn by other artists, but for the main part, this book was all drawn by John Timms, and it's a super good style, super good. It's a nice style for the Young Justice characters. I mean, come on. Superboy looks badass here. Connor Kent, come on. But the story is just, I don't know, kind of confusing. There's so many young heroes in this book, and at the end of the book, they kind of all decide their Young Justice is inclusive of everyone, and that's fine, I guess. But it's kind of like hearkening to the Legion of Superheroes. If you're gonna include everyone and anyone who wants to join this team, which coincidentally, Brian Michael Bendis writes Legion of Superheroes, which I try to read, just wasn't for me. But overall, this issue was decent. I love Connor Kent. He is my favorite Superboy. I really want him to come back into the fold and be the Connor Kent from Jeff Johns' run on Teen Titans from 2000 and something, 2005, I believe. But I don't think we're going to get that. But Tim Drake is in this terrible brown outfit now, just called Drake. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. There's just some weird parts. Overall, I'll probably get this 1 or 2 more issues, and hopefully, since this is the end officially of this arc, we're going to move on to the next one. We'll see where it goes, because at the very end, there was a good tease of Impulse, or Kid Flash, crying, and Superboy flying down me like, dude, you just gave us a ton of information about us, but what's going on with you? And I think there's going to be some cool multiverse stuff going on there. But we'll see. I would give this a 6.5 out of 10. It's just not catching me all that much. But let me know what you guys think. Are you guys reading this book? Should I drop it? Is Bendis just like dropping the ball like he is on all the other titles he's on right now? I don't know. Let me know down in the comments below. We have 3 books left, and the rest are just incredible must-reads in my opinion. And the first one up we're going to talk about is Strange Adventures #2. This is written by, that's right, Tom King. I know some of you guys hate him, some of you love him. I'm in the love court. I absolutely love Tom King, and this is written art by Mitch Gerards and Evan Shaner. Incredible book. The writing in this book is impeccable. How Tom King takes his time and sets up storylines, some people hate. He gives lots of mystery and just kind of gives you little hints along the way and lets you build the story as you go. You can kind of guess, or look a little bit into the future and kind of guess what's going on, but overall you kind of just gotta like read it all, and it's so good. It's beautiful. The dialogue, the overall story, how he's hinting at things but not telling you the whole story, so good. Mitch Gerards and Evan Shaner's work on this book is so good. Mitch Gerards is writing the current story, which is following Mr. Terrific, and Evan Shaner is kind of like focusing on the backstory, where we're learning the history of the story of what we think is Adam Strange and what his whole story. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. It's well told, and I think personally this is a must pick up. I would give this an 8.5 out of 10. So good. It's going to be a great maxi series, and I highly suggest you guys pick up this book, because again, I think Tom King is one of the best writers out right now. I didn't add him when I talked about my favorite writers before, but man, Tom King, I love Tom King's work. Yeah, let's move on to the next one, because the next one is so good. All right, guys, you guys know I am a huge Batman fan, so obviously I am so into Dark Knight's death metal. I loved Dark Knight's metal, and I'm loving Dark Knight's death metal. I of course picked up, these are the 3 covers that I decided to go with. Cover A, cover, I don't know, B, C, whatever the heck these were. But this book was so good. It was so good. I don't always listen to reviews. I try not to listen to other people's reviews before I actually do a review of the book myself, because I want my thoughts to be my own thoughts. I don't want to be regurgitating other people's thoughts. But I listen to Thinking Critical's review on this book, and I got to halfway through the review and I turned it off. But one of the things I took from his review is that he thought this book was very convoluted. And then when I first heard that word, I was like, convoluted. I know that word that means, but I don't want to like think of the wrong meaning of that word and take what he's saying the wrong way. But then I looked at the word, and the word basically means a very hard to follow story. There's so much going on, and you just can't follow it all, and it's kind of like makes it messy and not enjoyable. I don't think that's this book. I think this book is so enjoyable. Yes, there's a shit ton going on. There is so much going on. Would it be helpful to have read Dark Knight's Death Metal right before this and all the tie-ins and everything else? Sure. But was this book enjoyable by itself, not having read any of those? Hell yes. There is so many crazy, wacky things. They're gonna definitely, I mean, I shouldn't say definitely, they are probably going to give us some information along the way. This is a 6-issue or 7-issue miniseries that's going to have all kinds of tie-ins that gives the team a chance to really explore all the wackiness that is in this book, and this book is so gorgeous. This is written by Scott Snyder and art by Greg Capullo, guys. This book is so freaking good. It's awesome, it's enjoyable, it's incredible. Can't say enough about this book. Highly suggest you guys be picking this book up. The variant covers are insane. They're gorgeous. If you like good art, just pick up one of the variant covers. But man, in my personal opinion, I would give this a 9 out of 10. It is just such a good book. I really want to start talking about the next book because the next book is just as good, if not better. All right, let's jump into the last book. All right, guys, this is my last book for the week, and it is my pick of the week. It is hands down the best book I read this week, and that's after reading everything that I just read. Strange Adventures #2, Dark Knight's Death Metal #1, Family Tree. So many good books this week. Wynd, so many good. But this book, Wonder Woman Dead Earth #3, written and drawn by Daniel Warren Johnson, was incredible. This book is leaps and bounds, like not better than the other books, but this book is just so good. The story that he is writing, Daniel Warren Johnson, is I was not expecting this story when I started reading this book, especially with the point that where they've gotten to now. It's an incredibly written story. Post-apocalyptic Earth. Most of the heroes, if not all I believe all the heroes, except for a few that we've run into, are dead. The Earth is a wasteland. There's mutated Amazons. There's just a small sect of humans left. And yeah, you get betrayal. You get a moment of regret and self-introspection. And there's so many good parts of this book. And the characters have depth. And there's a lot of weight behind a lot of this because there's like, they're fighting for their lives. They're fighting for the planet. And there's some heart-crushing moments when you read this book with Wonder Woman and Superman in the end. Oh my God, the last 2 pages of this book were mind-blowingly awesome. Oh my God, the art in this book is so good. Cannot suggest you guys pick this book up enough. Issues 1, 2, and 3 have been some of the most enjoyable reads this week. Out of all the books that we read today, or this last couple days, this was just my favorite. It was so good. The storytelling, the dialogue, the emotion that you feel for these characters is just incredible. And I just love that it's focusing on Wonder Woman because, again, just like I said in the Dark Knight Metal book, I think Wonder Woman really needs her time to shine with some creators that really can showcase her talents and just, I don't know, Daniel Warren Johnson and Scott Snyder so far are doing a great job of that, and I'm excited to see where this story goes and where Dark Knight Death Metal goes. But yeah, but that's it for my reviews this week, guys. So many good books. I mean, seriously, guys, so many good books. I was so excited for this week. But yeah, that's it for the week, guys. Please tune in tonight for comics and beer, and tune in 2 seconds because I'm going to flip this camera around and give you guys a little sneak peek of what Greg Rucka sent us for the giveaway. It's so epic. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys tonight. Peace. Alright guys, I just want to give you guys a little sneak peek. I'm so excited to show this to you guys. What Greg Rucka sent to us for the giveaway next Friday. A little sneak peek, Sorry, I hit the microphone there. We have 10 of the 11 issues of Lois Lane, all signed by Greg Rucka. A special Batman special edition signed by Greg Rucka. We have Old Guard trade paperback, and we have Lazarus hardcover trade paperback, all from Greg Rucka. Guys, it's going to be an epic giveaway. I cannot wait for next Friday. Yeah, this is it. All right, I'll see you guys later. Peace.